Hey guys, so as you may have noticed, there is a new intro to this video, and that's a new icon for the channel. This new icon is coming from SeanHicksArt, and it's in the style of my favorite, Super Mario RPG. Over on Twitter, at SeanHicksArt has been doing a ton of Super Mario RPG artwork, and I totally suggest you go and check them out if you're interested. They're an excellent artist, and once again, thank you, Sean. I absolutely love this icon. Okay, so now let's talk about this potential Crash Bandicoot 4 leak for the Nintendo Switch. So over on Twitter, at GoNintendoTweet tweeted out, source code on the website for Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, mentions Switch. So supposedly over on the Crash 4 It's About Time website, in the code for that website, there's information pointing to it potentially coming to the Nintendo Switch, something that hasn't been announced yet for the game. This was discovered by the Twitter user at SunwerPrower. And this is a Google translation of what they said, but it says, inside the Crash Bandicoot 4 page, you will find a small remnant of Switch. More specifically, it is a script that includes the Nintendo Switch element. This component is the one who feeds the platform options menu. You can check for yourself. And then they left this image of the Crash Bandicoot 4 website, and in the code you can see it does say Nintendo Switch. And this was in the platform's label part of the code for the website, suggesting that the website will most likely eventually be updated to include the Nintendo Switch as a platform the game is available on. Right now, the game is only coming out for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Over on Twitter, at Stealth40k wrote, of course this game is coming to Switch eventually. I had absolutely no doubt. Will be coming later just like the Crash/Spyro collections did. So Stealth is referring to the fact that things like the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy did eventually come to Switch, but it took a little bit longer than it did on other platforms. And most likely with Crash 4, that's going to be the same case. It will eventually come out for Switch, but it's just going to take a little bit longer than the PlayStation 4 and Xbox versions. So now that we have some strong evidence in favor of Crash Bandicoot 4 actually showing up for Switch eventually, all those theories about that game eventually coming to Switch, alongside potentially the announcement of Crash Bandicoot coming to Super Smash Bros., have a little bit more weight to them. Crash Bandicoot, of course, would make an excellent character in Super Smash Bros. He's probably one of the last characters that really feels deserving, really feels missing on the Smash roster. If Crash was alongside Mario and Sonic, it would just feel really right to a lot of people. Those were sort of the big three platforming mascots back in the late 90s, and it would just feel really fitting to have them all in Smash battling it out. Sort of a extension of the whole console wars. However, a character's game getting on the Nintendo Switch does of course not guarantee that character is going to get in Super Smash Bros. So there's absolutely no guarantee Crash will show up in Smash. However, there's been a lot of theories that if Crash 4 were to be announced alongside Crash for Smash, that would just make a lot of sense. So now having stronger evidence that Crash 4 will likely be coming to Switch adds a little bit more weight to that theory. Whether or not Crash Bandicoot shows up in Super Smash Bros., I'm still very excited that it seems Crash 4 will likely be coming to Nintendo Switch. Crash 4 looks like an awesome game, and I definitely picked that up for the Switch. Now I just want to talk briefly about M-Theory again. M-Theory was the main subject of my last video. If you haven't watched that one, I suggest you go check it out. Essentially what it is a theory that might guarantee that in our second Fighters Pass, we could be getting an M-rated character. If you subscribe to the theory, it seems to guarantee that. This is mostly coming from how the ESRB is rating the Mr. Sakurai Presents videos, at least the more recent ones, in America, as opposed to how it's being rated in other regions. The theory is essentially that the logos for games are being censored in the North American versions of these presentations, possibly because the ESRB will rate the videos as the rating for whatever the logo of those games are. So if a game is rated M, the Mr. Sakurai Presents trailer will actually be rated M if a logo for an M-rated game appears in that video. This is something many people had noticed with Fallout and Assassin's Creed. Both of those got Mii costumes in the last two videos, and both of those names were actually censored. So in the comments to my last video, Luke Spencer wrote, at 312, that's strange because Richter's boxing ring title is the Azure Vampire Assassin in all versions of the game, referring to when I was talking about how it's possible the word assassin was what was being censored. I responded to this by saying, right, so that means it's likely it isn't being censored because of those words, but rather the game logos. So Richter has the word assassin in his title in the game, so it seems unlikely they'd actually censor Assassin's Creed simply for having the word assassin. Actually, I think the word Fallout even shows up alongside the Vault Boy Mii costume, so within the game, it doesn't seem like they need to censor these things. It's really the Mr. Sakurai Presents videos that might have their rating boosted up if a logo shows up. I don't think it's actually these words, and honestly, having Richter have the word assassin in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate being an E10+ rated game, makes me think that showing the Assassin's Creed title, simply having the word assassin in it, isn't what would bump up the rating. It's probably the fact that Assassin's Creed is an M-rated game, and that logo is associated with it. My assumption is the ESRB probably doesn't want kids looking up those games if they're M-rated games after watching the presentation, and that's why they're now censoring those logos. It seems a little strange, but yeah, that might be what the ESRB is doing here. Now, quite a few interesting things have come up in regards to some of the subjects I went over in the After Small Battlefield video, so if you haven't watched that one, go ahead and check it out. So last time I was talking about how it was really strange in the 8.1 version of Smash Bros. They upgraded the random button to look a little different. There's no longer a black border around the question mark. I was speculating potentially this change might have been made because possibly a future character has a question mark as their series logo, but I couldn't think of any good ones. However, Churro Donut in the comment section had a really good theory. They said, I have a theory, though I don't know how much I believe it myself, about the question mark. It's possible that the question mark logo is programmed to come from the same type font used in characters' names on victory screens, and it happened to have a black border around it. So the theory here is essentially the same font in the code for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for character names was also being used to get the question mark for the random button. This would make sense if they plan to add a character with a question mark in their name, and upon testing said character, they noticed that it had a border around it on the victory screen when the rest of the names did not. So they changed the mark to be consistent with the rest of the font, and didn't realize that the question mark was also used elsewhere in the game. The only character with a question mark in their name that comes to mind is Steve from Minecraft. But I believe Mojang has retconned his name to just be Steve now. In all reality, the question mark probably means nothing, but I know we like our tinfoil hats around here. And I do like tinfoil hat theories, and I thought that one was pretty neat. However, 11ZM, a modder, wrote me this. They said they also updated the question mark icons that the game used to display in 8.0.0 and before, and they are still in the files. And yeah, the new random buttons still count as a slot on the stage select screen. So according to 11ZM, the old question mark is still in the files for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, so this idea that there's only one font and they had to change it for the question mark of a character name doesn't appear to be true. Fran_mod wrote question mark boxes from Crash Bandicoot. And yeah, that's a possibility I hadn't thought of. Crash does have those question mark boxes in his game, so maybe that's going to be his series symbol. However, I kind of doubt it. The question mark box isn't exactly the most iconic thing from Crash. In my last video, I was also speculating about how it's possible if we're getting bonus content, perhaps we could get 4 additional Echo Fighters added as bonus extras for Smash, and that would fill up the full CSS, making it a perfectly square character select screen. In the comment section, Omega and Chris wrote, I will note that if the 4 additional characters were Echoes, then both the overlap and the separate Echo Fighter screens would be square. Because at the moment, if you overlap the Echoes, it will be perfectly square at the end of this pass. So that's true. There's 2 ways to show the character select screen. One that has the echoes in separate boxes, and then another one that has them overlap the characters they are echoes of. As of right now, the character select screen where the echoes do not overlap will not be square at the end of the second fighter's pass. However, the one where the echoes do overlap will be square. So adding 4 more specifically Echo Fighters and not unique characters would make both character select screens perfectly square at the end of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This is one of the reasons why I specified the potential of getting 4 extra characters being Echo Fighters if we're trying to shoot for a perfectly square character select screen. The other reason being, of course, that Echo Fighters are something I could see being a extra bonus, kind of like how we got Small Battlefield, or possibly sold separately from the Fighter's Pass, like the Mii costumes are. I didn't think that getting other unique characters is all that likely after the second Fighter's Pass, but getting some Echo Fighters as bonuses is a possibility, and again, would square up both versions of the character select screen. Having a perfectly square character select screen doesn't seem like it's too big of a concern with Sakurai. It hasn't been for past Smash games. However, there is some evidence they may be shooting for perfectly square select screens. When they added Small Battlefield to our stage select screen, they also changed the random button. We now have 3 separate random buttons, one for choosing a random normal stage, one for choosing a random Battlefield style stage, and one for choosing random Final Destination style stages. Before, if you wanted to choose a random Battlefield or Final Destination stage, this could be achieved the same way you would on a specific stage, only going over the random button, pressing the X button, and toggling through Battlefield, Final Destination, and normal. However, for some reason, they've split it up into 3 separate icons. So one potential reason for doing this might be simply to fill up spots on this stage select screen. Maybe they now know exactly how many stages we're going to get, and they know that if they were to split up the random button into 3 and add small battlefield, they'll be able to achieve this perfectly square stage select. We know we're getting 5 more with our Fighter's Pass, and that leaves 3 blank spots. And it could have left 5 blank spots, but it now specifically leaves 3 because they split up the random button. So since I can't think of any other good reason to split up that random button into 3 spots, other than to take up a certain amount of spaces on the stage select screen, it's very possible they're simply planning to add 3 more bonus stages or something, and then in the end we'll have a perfectly square stage select. If that's something they're shooting for, it's also possible they're shooting for that perfectly square character select screen as well, and that's where that whole idea of adding 4 more characters, 4 more Echo Fighters specifically, came from. Over on Discord, the random Narwhal wrote me, "Hey Papa, interesting thought. So on Nintendo's Smash website, it has a stage part, and it oddly has space for 6 stages to make a perfect square. What's weird is that the DLC stages are going to form a perfect square when finished. So wouldn't they want the bottom one with all the stages too as well? This might imply we get at least 1 more bonus free stage in an update." And then you can see how the official Smash website is showing off the stages now. There's room for 3 extra stages on both bottom corners, so that would be 6 in total, and we're only guaranteed to get 5 with the DLC. So it would leave a really awkward extra blank spot to only have 5 instead of 6 stages for the website. I will say speculating on the websites looking clean has never worked out well for speculation in the past. It's almost always ended in an awkward way, or simply they can update the website however they need to, and this might just be temporary. Speculating based on the website looking clean usually doesn't work out, but I will admit it is a little strange that 6 would be perfect here. And that would of course mean getting at least 1 more bonus free stage, and since we already got one, it is certainly a possibility. Brian La Riviere wrote me, "Ken and Peach, that is Daisy's glove." So last time I was talking about this rock, paper, scissors tweet by Sakurai, and I think I said it was Ken and Peach doing rock, paper, scissors, but it's actually Ken and Daisy. I just didn't recognize the glove. I'm a little surprised I misspoke on that one, as I'm well aware Daisy is the one who throws up the peace sign. Last time I also mentioned this Game Explained interview with Hideki Kamiya, where he talked about what characters he'd like to see in Smash. He specifically said Amaterasu and Beautiful Joe, so that 4 of his characters would be in Smash Bros. However, right now he only has 1 character, Bayonetta. However, Aquatic Freshness pointed this out to me. They said, in regards to the Kamiya 4 characters in Smash thing, he could simply be referring to both Bayonetta, the character, and Rodin, the assist trophy, since they're technically 2 of his characters in Smash Bros. So that's a good point. Although only 1 Kamiya character, Bayonetta, is playable in Smash, there are actually 2 characters from him in Super Smash Bros., Bayonetta and Rodin. So him counting Amaterasu and Beautiful Joe, adding up to 4 characters in Smash, does make sense when you think about it that way. However, I will say it's still very strange he didn't mention Dante at all here. He did a poll not too long ago to see which character of his fans would like to see, and Dante won that poll. So I'm sure Kamiya is well aware of the fan demand for Dante in Smash, and to not mention him at all when asked which characters he'd like to see in Smash is a little suspicious in my opinion. Alright guys, well that's everything I wanted to talk about in this video. Once again, I want to say thank you to Sean Hicks. I absolutely love the new icon, and if you want to check out Sean Hicks' art, I'll leave a link in the description below. If you guys have any thoughts or comments about any of the stuff we talked about in this video, leave them below. So once again, thank you guys for all the subscribes, all the likes. Really helps out the channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do so, or like the video, or leave a comment, whatever you want. Until next time, have a good one.